Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today I'm looking at the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron, Luke Skywalker's X-Wing. It's number 15 in the set and it was released in 2022. Now at the moment, this line isn't exactly out for mass production, but certain stores like Walmart, Target, and Amazon are releasing a certain select ships under the Launch Edition banner. So that's pretty awesome. I was lucky enough to snag one of these off of Amazon, and here it is. Now the reason why this is so exciting to me is because growing up, I had my micro machines and I had action fleet vehicles. And what a quinky dink that we have the company, Jazwares, which owns the rights to micro machines right now and is pumping out wave after wave. Well, now they're doing this, which is basically the sole successor to the Action Fleet line. That is amazing. Now, I've talked to many people who bought one of these, such as Rex Rye, and if he's watching, what's up, man? This here looks great in the package. But what we're going to do is, and I put it off, is I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to experience this right in front of you guys. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go over the packaging, I'm going to crack it open, we're going to look at it, and then we'll get into my normal review. But I want to have that fresh look. Like, I want to feel excited when I open this, because yes, I could see it through the plastic, but to have it in these big hands here, you know, that's a whole other ball game. So sit back, grab some popcorn, we're going to look at the box, crack this open, look at the mold, the paint, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, so let's take a look at this box now, shall we? We have Star Wars on the top, Launch Edition on this side. We have this beautiful plastic case which holds the ship in a flight position. And it looks really cool. Right here we have an image showing that Luke Skywalker can go into the canopy, which is awesome. We have Luke and R2-D2, looking almost just like the Action Fleet figures. Pretty cool. We have our logo down here, Micro Galaxy Squadron, Luke Skywalker, and number 15. Really cool. Now on this side, nothing really there. We can see our ship, no stand. And then on this side, some beautiful artwork here. Sick. And then on the bottom, copyright crap, figures. Now here's something interesting. Here's the back of the box. We have R2-D2 that can come out. The S foils open, which I was hoping they would. We have landing gear, a collectible card. And now check this out. We have Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, a Jedi Starfighter with the ring, which is awesome, an X-Wing, and then down here we have, oh my god, the Mandalorian TIE Fighter, which looks amazing. I really want to get that with the foldable wings, and it looks like it has a stand, which is sick. Now check this out. Chase vehicles. So, I guess this is a different X-Wing, which, that's okay. They can make this any color of any film, I would buy it. But I gotta hunt for the TIE Fighter? Oh, fudge crackers. I'll be going to store, but I guess that's the point. So, that does it for the package. It looks awesome, so now I guess the only thing left to do is crack it open, right? Oh boy, let's go for it. Let's do it live. Well, it's live for me. Record it for you guys. You know, I don't really do this often, but I know you guys like the plastic sounds and whatnot. So this is cool. It's like a tiny little package for the minifigures. I guess we could call them that, right? Feels like it's good plastic, so that's a plus. We'll get a closer look at R2-D2 and Luke in a while. Okay, a little soft, not like rubber though. No, it's just soft plastic. The arms could go up and down, which is sick, and the legs could bend. Now we're talking. This is great. Paint applications aren't that bad. Again, we're gonna have a closer look in just a few. I'm really happy with that, but here's the meat and potatoes. This is what I'm excited for. Let's see if I can get this out. First thing, it feels very light. Very light. Fuselage moves a little bit. That's expected. Not a big deal. Here underneath, we have our gimmick for R2 to get him out. So that's good. We have our landing gear, which seems to fold flush, except for these little hooks, but okay, I'm okay with that. And the shape is correct. The only thing I see an issue with, yeah, this wing's a little open, but these engines, they're not even. A lot of companies make them uneven, but I guess it is what it is. And oh, that is nice. Hear that click? This ain't going nowhere. That is good. And now the laser cannons. Are they soft rubber? Nope, they're hard. Yes. Oh man, this is great. And then the canopy, looking good. Nice. So now that I got it out of the box, first thoughts, it's not bad. Like, yes, the engine's not being even here is a little bummer, but just looking at it, there's a lot of detail on here. And yeah, I guess some of the plastic is a little warped here and there, such as the wings on this side, as you can see. They're a little spread out for some reason. But it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. The only thing that would have made this perfect, for me anyway, is if it had a little peg here with a stand. Now, I know I'm doing this sort of live, so I'm not really getting everything. But here's a stand for the action fleet. And I guess you could modify it somehow to click on there, maybe with some putty or something. But that doesn't look too shabby. Nice. And I know I'm jumping the gun, but I'm just trying to see it size-wise. I don't really have many action fleets, but I do have the B-Wing. So if we put the two together, pretty interesting. So if anybody has the B-Wing Starfighter, you can see the size difference there. And then real quick, let me open up the canopy on the B-Wing, and we'll look at a nice old-fashioned minifigure from the action fleet days, which is, you know, it's going to be night and day compared to the new one. Let me get a zoom in on this. So we have the new one on this side, and we have the old one on the left. And you can see the difference there. Night and day. I think the size is better on the new one, but the detailing is better on the old one, and paint application. But we knew that was going to happen, right? Alright, it's been about 5 minutes since I opened this up. The nostalgia has weared off. I ripped this thing apart with a fine-tooth comb, took measurements, took notes. So now let's get to the review. The X-Wing Starfighter first made its on-screen appearance in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And for being one of the first memorable starships from Star Wars, what a way to kick off this collection. Looking at this piece, it looks fantastic. I actually love this shot. I'm probably going to use it for the end of my video too. This thing looks dope. Openable wings. The R2 unit and Luke can go inside of it. It's got landing gear. It has everything I would expect it to. But yet again, it does have its faults, but we'll talk about that later. For the size of this piece, we're looking at just under 5.5 inches, or just about 13.5 centimeters. So it's a nice size ship, and it goes well with the other Action Fleet vessels. But here's the thing, looking at this line, the word on the internet street, if you will, is that each one is to scale with another. Which, is that true? I guess time will tell. But that's what's going on, that they're all to scale with these 1-inch figures. So it should be very interesting to look at the Millennium Falcon or the Razor Crest and see how they line up as well. Now, I've been talking for a long time with the unboxing and this little intro here, but I know what we're all here to see. We want to look at that mold. So let's get to it. For those who are new to my channel, what I like to do is go over the mold. We're going to go over all the major points, and then zoom in to see all the fine details on these bad boys. Then we'll look at the paint, compare it, and then we'll be done. So let's get kicking. So let's start looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the item, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. So up first, we have our nose cone, fuselage, looking good. We have our canopy, which opens, and we'll take a look at that real quick. Looking at the canopy, this is one of my favorite parts. It's translucent plastic. We have a hinge in the back, and a little lip in the front. Slide your nail in, and it just opens right up. And you can see it's very detailed in here. We have our chair, some controls. Looking good. We'll have a better look later. But you could take your Luke Skywalker minifigure, place him in here. He sits quite well. Shut the cap. There's a little peg in the front. And looking dope. Sick. On the sides, we have our torpedo launchers. Looking nice. Those are on both sides. Looking cool. In the aft, we have our R2 position, which is pretty cool. Now see that little peg there? That's where the R2 unit actually fits. And on the bottom, we have this little peg. Right here should be the cargo area, but if you push this, it presses a mechanism and the R2 unit can come out. And that's pretty awesome. So let's take a quick look at that. Looking at the astromech port, you can take your R2 unit, slide it in like so. You can see he goes in quite well. And then this button, see it's a little firm now, but you press this and he could rise up, which is great. Back in the day with the action fleet, I remember having to use my teeth or tweezers to grab the R2 units out because it was very snug. So again, this is a nice improvement. Pretty sick. I love that idea, and they should have had it back in the day, so I'm glad they do it now. I will admit, I wish they had that in the Action Fleet series. We have our S-foils, looking good. The aft looks very nice. Pretty sick. On the bottom, we have 3 screws holding it together, copyright crap. We have landing gear that can come out. Right now it's flush. We have these little hooks. So let's take a quick look at those. For the landing gear, each part has this little lip here. You could put your nail underneath and just drag it out, and you can see they are detailed, which is very nice. It's hollow on the interior. But in the front, we do have this flat piece here, which I know some people are against. But I don't know. I like this. I know I might be the minority here, but I like the landing gear. Looks pretty dope. And this one, you put your nail in, just pull it out. Looking sharp. And we'll get a close-up of these in just a few. But a really cool mechanic. And then when they shut, they're flush. And that's what I really like. Again, pretty neat. Pretty nice. I know some people aren't a fan of the flat edges, but when they're shut, they look pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I do like that quite a bit. Now, for our wing sections, we have our engine intakes, which look very nice. Beautifully detailed. We have our thruster sections, which are not even. I don't know why some companies do that, but what are you gonna do? Then we have our wing sections, which are very detailed, top and bottom, looking dope. And then we have our laser cannons, which are very hard, and that's awesome. I was a little afraid they were going to do like rubber cannons, but thank the maker, you know, we got hard ones here. Now these wings can open up, so let's take a look at that. So for the wings, what you're going to do is you're going to grab the 2 engines like so and just spread it open, and you can see how wide they get. It's very accurate to the film, which I love. When they're going down the trench, this is basically what we see. Well, technically it's facing this way, but you can see it looks awesome. The insides are detailed as well. We'll look at that later. You can see the little mechanism right here. But all in all, this looks great. I love this. This angle reminds me of Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Have you guys ever played those games? Some good times there. But really neat. Now if I shut it, you can see the fuselage actually moves a little bit, but it's not bad. And the wings have a little bend to them, but it's not terrible. Like, I get a little anal with it, but it's not as bad as I'm leading on to believe. And then looking at it from the back, pretty cool, right? Nice. Amazing. I love all the movable parts on here. Like I said, there may be little issues here and there, mostly with the paint that we're going to talk about later, but this is a fantastic model here. Really dope. So now let's get a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we'll begin with the bottom of the ship, and as you can see, we have heavy amounts of wash, which is amazing, but we'll talk about it later when we discuss the paint. So looking here, we have some screws and a bunch of panel lines. And I have to admit, I love the detail on here. It looks sick, and we'll have a closer look at the landing gear in just a few. Here we have some copyright crap. And the rest of the ship's bottom. Looking dope. You can see right here is the actual gimmick here to push the astromech out. And it's very nice. I love the angles on here. Very accurate to what we see in the film, which is nice. Coming down, we have panel lines, another screw. Looking pretty cool. Looking at the sides here, nice and angled, lots of panel lines. And check this out. Really dope. We have a torpedo launcher right there. And then coming to the nose cone. Very nice. See the front of the nose cone right there. And the side, all these panel lines looking dope. Torpedo launcher. And then we have right up to the main body here. Looking amazing. Coming at the top, you can see the nice details. Nothing's really flat. Everything has these nice curves to it, which is cool. And that's the same for this side. Detailing just continues right to the back. And speaking of the aft, look at that. This is amazing. Looking dope. And the wash makes all the details pop, which is sick. Looking up to the S-foils, you can see some beautiful detail in here, which in my opinion looks amazing. Nicely done. All recessed in, lots of little pipes and hoses. Sick. We have the port for our astromech. We have our canopy, and we'll open that in just a few. And then the top of the fuselage going down to the nose cone. And you can see some raised sections here. Looking very cool. Now for the canopy itself, you can see some nice details on here. And I left it a little loose. There's a little peg right here. But you open it up, and you can see some nice stuff in there. So let's get a closer look. Alright, getting as close as I can without my camera bugging out. Here we can see our cockpit chair. Looking really cool. Some nice details. We have some wires or hoses in the front. And then if we look, it's a little hard to see. But right here we have what looks to be if they were going to make a joystick of sorts. But really nice. I think the attention to detail is there. Really cool. Now for the landing gear, I'll just shut this real quick. Again, you could take your fingernail and open that up, and you can see the beautiful details here. I think they look great. Now some people might not like these flat bits, but when you fold them up, they do a decent job at hiding everything. Again, looking dope. And the interior, you can see it's basically hollow, and you shut them like so. You can see it's nice and flush now, which is nice. The same goes for these ones on the bottoms of the engines. And they're identical, so I'll just show off one. You can see we have little pistons here, which are nice. Some wash on there as well. Looking at it from the other side. Looking cool. You can see how it's like flat on the front, which might be a bummer, but I don't know. It's alright. Then we have the bottom. And they shut just like so. Nice. Nice, and I just had to throw in that landing gear with the close-up as well. But very cool. So now let's talk about the engines and the wings. Alright, so let's look at the engines. Now the top two are mostly the same. You can see they're identical and beautifully detailed. We have detail on the interior as well as the outside. Some nice detailing on the top. Looking very sharp. In the front, we have some beautiful air intakes right here. You can see the fan. Some detailing right below it. That looks amazing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. The bottom fans look identical and they look amazing. Pretty sick. Now coming to the back, you can see we have some nice details here. Some raised panels, some little pipes. Looking amazing. And the top is where we have the most detail. Look at that. Really cool. And it's the same for this side. Just different amounts of paint on there, but nicely done. The detailing on here is amazing. Looking at the underneath, you can see again, more detailing, which is great. And then we have our thruster sections. Now these I really like. I know the bottoms aren't accurate because they're not as long as the tops, but you have this nice detailed section, and then the inside is recessed in and molded, which is amazing. Very cool if I do say so myself. Really nice. All four of them. Sick. And then we have some detailing right here, which is very cool. Now for the bottom engines, we have some nice detailing coming around, which looks nice. Then we have our little thruster here. Again, look at all these details here. Very nice. And then we have our little thruster here, which, as we already saw, is nicely detailed. And that's the same for this side. There's no real differences. So pretty sharp. Just not 100% accurate. So we covered the cockpit, the landing gear. So now it's time to look at these wings. So we'll start with the bottom. You can see some beautiful panel lines here. Looking amazing. Nice details. Now the fronts and the sides, there's no detailing, it's mostly flat. And then the aft, again, mostly flat. And that's the same for this side. Oops. Pretty good though. And then here's this side. Close up, looking dope. Just that wash fills in every nook and cranny and really makes the detail pop on here. And that's what I'm a big fan of. Looking at the tops of the wings. Again, looking fantastic. I think these came out great. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. But beautifully done. You see this side, looking amazing. Cool. Now finally we have the laser cannons. Now all of these are identical. There's no differences. But just look at the detail in here. Especially right here above my thumb. Beautifully done. And that goes all the way around. Very nice. I think they came out great. Then we have our barrel. And look, these little crescent pieces here. Nice touch. And again, hard plastic, which is very welcome. And all four are identical. We can see some glue here, which is nice. And that's the same for this side. Very nicely done. So the only thing left is the interiors of the wings. So let's get a good shot of that. So having a closer look at the interiors of the wings, we can see the engine section here, and look at that. Beautifully molded. Nice little hoses, pipes, modules. And it's all recessed in. That is nice. Then moving down, we have some panel lines, little recessed areas. Looking good. And that's the same for this side as well. Again, looking fantastic. And then the wing section looks good. A little heavy on the wash, but I like it. Looking at it quick from this side. You can see the nice detailing. Fantastic. Pretty tops. It's basically the same thing. You can see the beautiful detail in there. And it goes all the way back there. And it's recessed in. Looks fantastic. And then the wings themselves are nicely done, just like the bottoms. Really cool. Nice. And look at the aft, looking up real quick. Just nicely done. I like that quite a bit. Like, the mold is really good on here. If it wasn't for these little engines, it would be perfect. But it is what it is. My actual gripes come with the paint, but we'll talk about that later. Alright, so let's start looking at the minifigures that come in this set. The first one here is R2-D2. For his size, he's about ½ an inch, or a little over 1 centimeter tall. It's very small, and the paint on here is a little iffy. You can see the top of his dome, the blue is a little off. So it looks like he's wearing his hat sideways. Pretty messed up, but the actual mold here is very nice, and I could totally see them coloring different types of astromechs. That would be kind of cool. For the paint, we're looking at about 3 different colors here, which is white, blue, and silver. And that goes all the way around, and it's very nice. At the bottom we have a peg hole for the gimmick of putting it into the ship. And for the mold, as you can see, everything's there. All the little doors, his head with the sensor, projector, everything's there, which looks very sharp. No details really on the dome itself, but once we get down to the midsection here, you can see all these little doodads, which is nice. More panels right here, and then the underneath we have some beautiful details as well. Looking dope. And then for the legs and little wheel sections, looks very cool. Right? Looks sharp. Up next we have Luke Skywalker. Now for his size, he's about 1 inch or 2 centimeters tall. And for the paint, watch out. He's got a bunch of colors on here. We have orange, white, gray, glossy black, red, yellow, and a peach color for his skin tone. When you put all that together, it's 7 different colors on just this little guy here. And it looks awesome. I know it's sort of blah, maybe a wash on here would have been amazing. But I like it, I think it came out well. A little paint mishap right there with black, but pretty sharp for the articulation. The arms can go all the way around, which is nice. And the legs can go that far forward and that far back down. All in all, a nice little miniature. And that does it for the mold. I hope I covered everything. I went over this with a fine-tooth comb, so if I did forget something, please let me know in the comments below. But looking at the ship and also the minifigures, the molds are beautiful. Yes, the engines are a little drag, but besides that, this is a great looking X-Wing starfighter. Nicely made. So now, let's take a look at the paint. Looking at that paint on the X-Wing, this bad boy features about 7 different colors. We have our main color, which is a light tan. Moving on from there, we have yellow, red, blue, metallic brown, black, a brown wash, and the wash is where all the issues come from. So while I was holding the X-Wing over a long amount of time reviewing it, I started to notice that my fingers were becoming sticky and tacky, and I didn't really know where it was coming from. But it's the wash. Apparently the paint on here, as well as the Imperial Troop transport, is not 100% dried yet, or cured. So, how could I prove this to you? Well, I got evidence. I took the X-Wing, I took my thumb, and I started rubbing it on the side, not even hard. As you can see, I'm just going back and forth, and then you can see my thumb right there has a minor discolorment right on the tip, and I have a photo here that's a little zoomed in and better to see. And yeah, that came right off, so pretty messed up. So that's basically everything I have to say about the mold as well as the paint. So now let's compare it to some other pieces before we conclude the video. And now for a quick size comparison with the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Luke Skywalker's X-Wing seen in the center. On the right, we have the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Imperial Troop Transport. Very nice, but it does have the same paint issue that the X-Wing does. This actually looks beautiful, lots of opening parts, but it's still a little sticky, which is odd. And finally, on the left-hand side, we have the Star Wars Action Fleet B-Wing Starfighter, which is one of my favorite ships ever created. On the whole, these are some awesome ships. Are they perfect? No, but you know what? They're all great in their own way. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Luke Skywalker's X-Wing, released in 2022. Now, this is the pre-launch edition. It's number 15 in the set, and on the whole, I'm very happy with this piece. For the mold, it is beautiful. Lots of little details, moving parts, landing gear, the cockpit opens up. That's what these ships are all about. It made me feel like I was playing with an Action Fleet vehicle. And to the company, well done. Moving on from there, the minifigures are also very nice. I like the moving parts on Luke Skywalker, and I hope we get different pilots with different colors, because that would be amazing. And speaking of colors, this is where it sort of goes downhill a little bit. On one hand, the paint is amazing, especially on the X-Wing. Very clean, very well done. I love the wash. It makes it look dirty and lived in, and that's what the original Star Wars was all about. However, the wash is not cured. It's not dry. It's very sticky. It comes off on my hands, and as we saw with my little demonstration there, it comes off quite easily. Maybe not the actual wash, but all the excess that isn't dried yet, that just comes right off. And I know I talked to some other people that own these, such as Rexrai, and he also agreed that the paint was a little tacky and not dry yet. So that is a shame. The paint on the R2 unit is also a little off kilter, especially on its head. But besides those two problems, the ship is nice. You know, I know the engines aren't level, but I dig it. I think it looks awesome. I think the worst thing about this is the sticky paint. Now, will that be the same for everybody out there? I don't know. However, I did get the Imperial transport tank, you know, from the first season of The Mandalorian in the same line, and as I was handling it, it felt great. But after a while of trying to open up all the doors and really looking at the details, yep, same issue, just not as bad as the X-Wing. So maybe they need time to dry a little bit. After letting mine sit out for a couple of days, I noticed that it was less tacky, but then again, I am touching it, taking measurements, reviewing it, so it could be the fact that maybe I'm just taking it all off with my hands. Either or, I guess in time it disappears or dries up, so I guess that's a win, but to get it on your hands kind of sucks, and I'm not going to beat around the bush about that. Now, I know I talked a lot today, but the thing is, there was a lot to talk about, and I needed to tell all of you everything there is about this ship, because A, I have high hopes for this line, and I want the company to know that people are noticing, and 2, I want to tell you guys everything about it, the good and the bad, and to do that, We had to look at the box, look at the paint, the mold, so I hope my video did it justice to everybody and you guys saw it for what it is, which is a great little ship with a little paint problem for the moment. Again, if you guys are looking for this, I would recommend hitting up Amazon, Walmart, or even your local Targets. I've been hearing rumors and seeing photos that people have been finding X-Wings, Imperial troop transports, and a couple people have Millennium Falcons. So get out there, go hunting, and if you find any, let me know in the comments below. So that's everything I have to say about this awesome looking ship today. If you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button, and if you'd like to see new videos every week, subscribe. Again, to all of you out there, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to watch my content, especially this video. I know it's long. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys back again next time. Bye everybody.